Hi, I'm Mike Owens with VA Careers. I want to first thank all of you, our viewers, for tuning into our program each week in 2023. This year, we've gained more loyal viewers, and I know it's because you all have shared the word about our broadcast, and I thank you dearly. Secondly, I want to thank the great team I serve with. They work so hard to ensure this program delivers the material that you all can use to help make your job search a success. This year, we've had some awesome tips and advice shared on our program, and today's episode will highlight the 10 best tips of Talk About It Tuesday for 2023. With that, have a happy holiday season and a happy new year. In your cover letter, when you're trying to convey to this hiring manager that you are the perfect person for this position, all right? Your cover letter should include skills and relevant experience for that one position. So why do I keep honing on that certain position or that specific vacancy? Because a cover letter should not be generic. I will say that right now, and I will stand by that. A cover letter should not be generic. Your cover letter, just like your resume, should be tailored to that specific position, because you're trying to show that hiring manager that you're the perfect person for that vacancy, not for that career field, but for that vacancy. Because again, you can look up 10 different job announcements under the same career field, and those 10 job announcements, even though they have the same job title, guess what? They can have 10 different responsibilities, and those 10 hiring managers looking for 10 different type of candidates. So again, your cover letter should not be tailored to your career field, but it should be tailored to your specific vacancy, that specific opening here at VA that you're trying to apply for. All right. And also, your cover letter should also show that you've kind of, that you did some research on the VA. And today we're talking about the VA, but whatever company you're applying for. But here specifically at the VA, your cover letter should show that you know the mission of the VA, some background information about the VA. If you're a veteran yourself, your cover letter should articulate that you're a veteran. And if you're not a veteran, but you have veterans that are near and dear to your heart, whether it's parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, family members, friends, whoever they may be, your cover letter should have a little bit of that to show that you understand the mission and the values of the VA. Should I specialize my resume or keep it general? And if you've been watching Talk About It Tuesday for the last 3 years, you know my answer to that. All right. You should always specialize your resume. And I don't normally use the word specialize. You guys know I use the word tailor. I think at this point, if you look in the dictionary and you look up tailor my resume in the dictionary, you might see my face because I've said that so many times. But you can have a general resume, but make sure you tweak that general resume every time you apply for jobs. So yeah, build a resume with all of your work experience, but don't submit that resume when you're applying for a job. Again, read the job announcement, read what the hiring manager is looking for, read what type of candidate they want, and make sure you put that information into your resume. Now, don't lie, obviously, and don't copy and paste, but make sure you use your own words to show the hiring manager that you have that specialized experience that they're asking for in the perfect candidate. So yes. So should I have a specialized resume? Yes, you should always submit a specialized resume instead of submitting a general resume, because again, a general resume may not highlight the specialized experience that the hiring manager is looking for. And you may have that specialized experience, but a general resume sometimes don't highlight that special information. And that can cause you to not get an interview. And obviously, if you don't get an interview, that's most likely you won't get the position that you're applying for.
Well, Kendra, I'm applying for a government job, but I don't know what grade level to select. It has GS7, it has GS9, GS11. How do I know? So the answer I have is when you're looking at grade levels, positions may have various grades assigned to them. And the grade levels are determined by experience, and some are determined by your education. Others are determined by a combination of your experience as well as your education. You may qualify 2 grade levels, for example. You may qualify at the GS7 based on your experience, but you may qualify for a higher grade based on your education. And at that point, it's up to you to determine what is the lowest grade level or the lowest salary that you would be comfortable with going into a position. Now, I must say that I tell people all the time, don't chase the money. The money will come. Go in at the level that you feel that you would be most comfortable in, because what we don't want to do is get you in above and you be in this job and you're working above your head. We want you to get in. We want you, if you have to start at the GS7 and go to the 9, then to the 11, go in at the 7. That way you'll learn the job from the ground up. The money will come. Just know that it's up to you to determine what you're most comfortable with when you see that. Look at the grade, look at the experience that's required by the grade, and then also look at what the job entails. What is it that the job is going to require you to do at the different grade levels? Because the grade levels, the experience at the grade levels does differ.
If you don't know, for every vacancy that's on USA Jobs, you may have between 200 and 1,000 candidates per job vacancy. So again, when you apply for a job, you may be going against 200, 300, 400, up to 1,000, even more than 1,000 candidates. So what we have to do is that the USA Jobs process will make sure that they try their best to find the applications that are not eligible for that position, because you don't want all 1,000 of those applications going to the hiring manager when only 100 of those applicants may be qualified. So what you want to do is the application process from that point, it goes through all the applications and it takes out the ones that are not qualified. All right. So once that happens, that's when the eligibility email comes out. Some of you know that, hey, you'll get an email that says I'm eligible for this position, or I'm eligible for this pay grade of this position. So the eligibility email does not mean that you're being referred to the hiring manager. It's just saying, based off of your answers to your question and your answers to the questions during the application process, and after them looking through your application, it's just showing that, okay, you're eligible for whatever pay grade that job may be for, and you're eligible, you're tentatively eligible for the job. So again, eligibility email does not mean a referral email. So I know sometimes we get excited. We get that first email that says I'm tentatively eligible for this position, or I'm tentatively eligible for this pay grade. But that does not necessarily mean that you're going to get referred to the hiring manager. Okay. So I just want you to remember that. Now, once the eligibility emails come out, you're going to get one of two emails. You're going to get an email that says you're eligible for this announcement, or you're going to get one that says you're not eligible for this announcement. If you get an email that says you're not eligible for the announcement, just go through the email and find out why you were not eligible. Okay. There's always a reason in that email that shows you why you're not eligible.
I hear this often, that someone has applied many times with no success. The very first thing I tell people like yourself is to continue to apply. There are some positions that are very competitive with literally hundreds of applicants. You have gone over your resume. I would suggest that you have someone else look at your resume as well. A second set of eyes is always helpful. Perhaps more detail in your work history that is applicable to the position you're applying for. Certifications that would help in these positions, basic life support as an example. Consider a cover letter to the hiring manager telling them what your experience and certifications, as well as what you bring to the table, are when hired. Be confident, tell everyone what you can and will do. Bottom line here, please continue to apply.
So what advice would you have for someone that's looking to come to work here at VA?
Yeah, so my experience really lies within, like you said, the physicians and the APPs, the PAs and the nurse practitioner. So what I can tell you is I do believe in my knowledge of working at the VA now. It's a little bit different in that recruiting realm. So, any physician or APP should just kind of like reach out to us. Anybody, that's looking for a job. Like I said, we advertise on outside job boards. So I know that the medical world, the physicians, APPs are familiar with things like Practice Link, things like 3RNet, Healthy Careers, Career MD. So those are the outside job boards that we post on in addition to in-house to USA Jobs. Of course, you can always apply to USA Jobs, but it's kind of been my experience that physicians and APPs are really just kind of perusing and they have their CV available. So they can just maybe email us that without, applying on USA Jobs. We can kind of get it started there with the CV. And then we can move on. So, if they're interested, they can apply on USA Jobs. But I would say for any physician or APP that's looking, for something in the VA health system, we have locations all across the United States. If I want you in West Virginia at the Lewis A. Johnson VA Medical Center, but if I can't get you in Clarksburg, West Virginia, I'd be happy just to get you in the VA health system. So there are plenty of physician provider recruiters at all locations. We're adding them constantly, that if I don't know who it is, somebody else does, and we can definitely get you in contact with the right person.
What type of candidates do you guys look for when someone's applying for the VBA?
Absolutely. So when you apply through USA Jobs, we look for a couple of things. First of all, your resume. We're looking for you to have a clean and concise resume. We do appreciate the ones that come in with 20 pages. However, if you can limit it to 5, it makes it a lot quicker to review and look at your experience and refer you to a hiring manager. So we look for folks that are able to analyze information, that are able to provide appropriate feedback independently or when asked, folks that know how to edit, how to write well, forecast and predict, create ideas, identify problems, and provide actionable solutions. I think I mentioned analyze information, provide support for others. And we are dealing with veterans who are seeking benefits and services. So definitely someone who is customer oriented and empathetic, because some of the veterans that we service have really endured some traumatic injuries and illnesses. So definitely looking for someone that is customer centric, that will represent the organization well.
We have a lot of our audience, they're trying to they want to work at VA one day. Some of them are currently in the application process. Some of them getting ready to start the application process. And maybe some have already interviewed. What advice would you have for anyone currently applying to work at VA?
First, I would say be patient. It is a tough area to get into, it seems, but there's reasons for that. Lots of checks and balances to make sure that these veterans are getting the best of the best. But definitely stick with it. Maybe volunteer. Programs like this are a great place. Your local VA, your local CBOX, those veterans, all of that, getting used to them and kind of familiar with the system, all looks really great. And I would highly encourage you, don't give up, keep pushing forward and trying to get in, because it is an excellent place to work.
What would you say is your absolute favorite thing about working at VA?
I've enjoyed working for the VA for nearly 30 years. I hate to admit that, but that is the truth. And during that time, I've made lifelong friends. I've learned and I've grown personally and professionally. As a VA nurse, I've been blessed and given opportunities. And most importantly, I've cared for our nation's heroes. And that's the most important thing to me. Again, our unique, complex patient population has given me a sense of duty. I'm both humbled with gratitude for their duty to serve our country. And to me, I wasn't able to serve for our country, but I love that I can take care of our nation's heroes.